Welcome back to my channel. I'm Joe with Smokin Joe's Pet Barbecue. So is the Lone Star Grillz pellet smoker really the best pellet smoker out of the market? Well, I'm about to put it to the test. I'm going to be smoking an unwrapped overnight brisket. Stay tuned. All right, here's my USDA prime brisket. Let me just take it out of the package real quick. All right, so I'm starting with a 12.5 pound USDA prime brisket, and it looks like we've got a little bit of trimming. They hid this flap on me inside the package, but that's gonna come off. Always remove this heavy decal right here. I gotta tell you what, no brisket is the same. I mean, this decal comes all the way up to the top right here. Normally it's on the side of the brisket. All right, that looks good right there. Let's trim up the fat cap. So while I trim up the fat cap on this brisket, I do want to talk about the Lone Star Grillz pellet smoker. Now, when I was smoking on my Yoder smokers, I'm not gonna lie, I was really eyeing the Lone Star Grillz pellet smoker because of the amount of smoke that it produces. Now, there's also a lot of people claiming that the flavor that the Lone Star Grillz pellet smoker leaves on food is just like an offset smoker, really close to it. So again, that's why I decided to do this overnight unwrapped brisket. Now it looks like we got a big gash right here on the brisket, but we're gonna make it work. So this brisket is a little bit twisted. Looks like when they cut it out, they took it out at an angle. So it is a little bit twisted, but again, we're gonna make this work. All right, that's as good as it's gonna get. So let's go ahead and season up this bad boy. Using a little bit of mustard as a binder. Gonna apply some granulated garlic. We're gonna keep this very simple, SPG. Some kosher salt. And some 16 mesh black pepper. All right, let's season up that fat cap. Little mustard. Granulated garlic. Kosher salt. And our 16 mesh black pepper. All right, so I'm gonna pop this brisket in my fridge for a few hours. Then I'm gonna throw it in my smoker at 11 p.m. Again, this is gonna be an overnight smoked brisket. I'll see you guys then. All right, so it's 11 p.m. and I've got my Lone Star Grillz pellet smoker running at 215 degrees. And for this cook, I'm gonna be using the Smokin pecan pellets. You guys have heard me say this before. These pellets are made out of 100% pecan shell, not pecan wood. And I gotta tell you, this pellet right here produces the most smoke out of any other pellet that I've ever seen before. And the flavor is amazing as well. Check this out, guys. The amount of smoke that is being produced is crazy, and it's a nice clean smoke. It's not black smoke or dirty smoke. So I'm going to slide out the top shelf. I'm going to be smoking this brisket with a fat cap up, and you can smoke with a fat cap down, but I believe that because we're using the top shelf, a lot of the heat is going to be on top up here. Now if you're cooking on the bottom shelf, definitely go fat cap down, but either way will work. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and shut the door. Again, I'm smoking at 215 degrees, and that should give us a really nice bark on this brisket. So I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Stay tuned. All right, and just like that, it's the very next day. Total cook time on this brisket has been 8 hours. But before I show you the brisket, I wanna show you guys exactly how much smoke is coming out of the smokestack. Check this out. I gotta tell you guys, these Smokin pecan pellets paired up with this Lone Star Grillz pellet smoker is a match made in heaven. Let's take a look at this brisket. All right, so before we look at this brisket, I want to show you guys how consistent this Lone Star Grillz pellet smoker has been running. Now, don't pay any attention to these fluctuations right here at the beginning. That's when I was loading the brisket. But for the past 8 hours, this smoker has been running extremely consistent at 215 degrees or very close to it. That is impressive. All right, the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's take a look at this brisket after 8 hours of smoke at 215 degrees. my goodness. Look at this, guys. Man, check out that bark formation. That is looking fantastic. Really nice color throughout the entire brisket. I still like to get my briskets a little bit darker than that, so I'm going to give it some more time. But let's get an internal temperature and see where we're at. Oh yeah, it's still kind of tough, so we got a long ways to go. About 165 degrees on the point. And I like to check my flat temperature right here in the middle of the brisket. That's where the point and that flat meet. And we're at 159 degrees in the middle right there. So far, I got to tell you, I am really impressed with the color on this brisket. So I'm going to slide the rack back in and close the door. So I know some of you guys might be asking why I'm not using a temperature probe, but personally, I do not like using temperature probes anytime that I'm smoking meat. I like to go off of the color, and then when it's almost ready, just get an internal temperature with the instant read thermometer. Now, on this controller, you do have the option to add 6 different thermometers or temperature probes if you wanted to. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and increase the temperature to 225 degrees. I will see you guys in about 3 hours. Stay tuned. All right, so we are at the 11.5 hour mark. Again, the first 8 hours, 250 degrees, 3.5 hours at 225. Let's take a look at this brisket. It is smelling amazing out here. All right, let me slide this rack out so you guys get a better look at this beautiful brisket. So check out that bark, 3.5 hours more, and we've got a beautiful bark. Let's get an internal temperature, starting with a point. It's feeling a little bit more tender, still not ready. 189 degrees on the point, and right in the middle of the brisket, feeling really tender. We're sitting at 181 degrees. So we got a few more hours to go. That bark is going to continue to build. I'll bring you guys back and let you guys know exactly how long it took for this brisket to come up to temperature. Stay tuned. All right, so we are at the 14-hour mark. Now, the last 30 minutes, I did crank the temperature up to 250 degrees, and I think we are ready. So let's take a look at this brisket. Beautiful brisket. All right, let's get an internal temperature here. Oh man, probing like butter, 201 degrees, right on the point. Let's check the middle of this brisket, really nice and tender. We're sitting at 197 degrees, but it is super tender. All right, so at this point, that brisket is ready. I'm just gonna let it rest for a few hours. But before I do, I'm gonna wrap this up in some foil. I'm gonna add a little bit of beef tallow on this brisket, just to cover that surface. Just like that. Wrap her up nice and tight. All right, so I was going to place this brisket in my food warmer for a few hours, but I know not everybody watching has a food warmer, but I'm sure a lot of people have a cooler. So this happens to be a Yeti cooler. No, I am not sponsored by Yeti, but Yeti, if you're watching, hook a brother up. So just place your brisket inside your cooler. No towels needed if it's a small one. Close that lid. We're gonna let this baby rest for a few hours. We'll see you guys inside. Stay tuned. All right, so the brisket has been resting for 3 hours, and I cannot wait to dig into this. It smells so darn good. Now, one of the things that I want to do is check the internal temperature, and as long as we're above 145, oh my goodness, look at that. We're gonna be okay. So let's just see if holding your brisket in a cooler works. Look at that, we're still at 162 degrees, which is perfect. So I know that you can at least hold your brisket for 3 hours with no external heat source. Oh yeah, let's dump that tallow on the top there. All right, so first things first, check out this bark production. I have never seen this type of bark produced off of a pellet smoker. This is absolutely amazing. Nice dark color, nice soft, pillowy fat. Look at that. It's not hard. Man, let's slice into this. Get that money shot right here. Super tender. You guys ready for this? Oh my goodness. Look at that. Nice and juicy. Really nice color on that meat right there. Really good smoke ring. Look at that. Hopefully you guys can see how juicy this is on the camera. But man, this is gonna be good. Get a few slices here. Oh my. Look at this, guys. Check this out. Beautiful point. Smells amazing. I cannot wait to dig into this. But first, let's check out the flat. See if we're nice and juicy as well. Man, that fat rendered perfectly. And look at that, nice and juicy throughout the meat. My mouth is watering right now. Look at this, guys. Look at that. Does that look amazing? Pull test. Perfectly cooked. Look at that. Oh yeah, let's give this bad boy a taste. All right, let's start off with that point. Look at that beautiful color. Nice and juicy. Oh man. Here we go, guys. That smoky flavor is unbelievable. That bark with all the seasoning tastes absolutely delicious. And that fat from the point is perfectly rendered. Good buttery flavor. This is delicious. All right, let's try a piece from that flat. Look at that. Man, I'm telling you, I am really impressed with that Lone Star Grillz pellet smoker. Along with those smoking pecan pellets, I think both of them paired together is a match made in heaven. But look at this, guys. This is that point. Nice and floppy. Look at that bark development. Good smoke ring. And the flavor is out of this world delicious. Guys, I gotta tell you that this is the absolute best pellet smoker brisket I have ever cooked. Good smoky flavor, amazing bark production. That smoker is easy to use, very consistent on temperatures. You know, the temperatures are not swinging 50, 60, 100 degrees above your set point. It is very consistent. The pellet consumption is minimal. It's got a 40-pound hopper. This is a 2 thumbs up brisket. What more can I say? If you guys have never smoked an overnight unwrapped brisket like this, give it a try. The results are absolutely delicious. I hope you enjoyed this brisket video. If this is your first time to my channel, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Until next time, Joe with Smokin Joe's Pit BBQ. See ya.